have you ever noticed that little drip, drip, drip of water coming from an air conditioner on a hot day? You know, it looks so clean, so pure. And in a world that's getting more and more worried about water shortages, it's a really tempting thought. Could we be sitting on millions of tiny untapped fountains? Well, today we're diving into the science to find out if the water from your AC is a hidden resource or a hidden danger.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the exciting promise of this so-called hidden fountain. Then we're going to head over to Nigeria for a real-world test to see what's actually in the water. And that's where we'll uncover a toxic surprise that honestly changes everything. From there, we'll figure out what we can actually do with this water. And finally, we'll zoom out to see the bigger picture.
Okay, let's start with the big idea here. With water becoming such a precious resource all over the world, scientists are, they're hunting for new sources. And one of the most common things we own, the air conditioner, seems to offer this brilliant solution by literally pulling water right out of thin air.
And this really is the central question. On the surface, it makes total sense. The process is just condensation, right? It's like dew forming on the grass. It's water from the atmosphere. So it should be pure. A lot of people have thought so, and for some pretty good reasons.
And look, this isn't just some random hopeful idea. It's actually been backed by research. A study in 2020 came to a really optimistic conclusion. As you can see from this quote, they argued the water is highly pure and represents this massive, untapped resource. We're talking about millions of liters of good quality water every single day. The potential just feels enormous.
Just so we're all on the same page, when we're talking about AC water, we mean condensate. It's just a byproduct of the cooling process. As your AC unit cools down the warm, humid air in your room, that moisture has to go somewhere. So it condenses on the cold coils inside and drips out. In theory, it's basically distilled water pulled straight from the atmosphere.
But, a promising theory is one thing. Real-world data? That's something else entirely. So, a team of researchers decided to put this whole idea to the test. And that brings us to a 2024 study from the University of Port Harcourt in Nigeria, a place where finding new water sources is a very real, very pressing issue.
This team wasn't just going to take anyone's word for it that the water was pure. Nope, they wanted to know for sure. Their goal was super specific. Collect condensate from AC units in 3 different university buildings and analyze it for heavy metal contamination.
So they use this really rigorous scientific process called wet digestion. Now, it sounds complicated, but the goal is pretty simple: to isolate any heavy metals that might be in the water. They collected samples, added some very specific acids, and then heated the whole mixture up. This process essentially burns away everything but the metals, which gives them a pure sample to analyze. It's how you get a crystal clear look at exactly what's hiding in that water.
And this is where our story takes a really sharp turn. The researchers ran their samples through a highly sensitive machine, one designed to detect specific elements with incredible precision. And the numbers that came back, well, they were shocking.
Let's start with one of the most notorious heavy metals out there, lead. I mean, everybody knows lead is bad news, especially in water. There is literally no safe level of lead exposure. So what did they find? Okay, just take a look at this chart for a second. That little bar on the right, that's the World Health Organization's safe limit for lead in drinking water. Now, look at the bar on the left. That's the level they found in the AC water from just one of the buildings. It's not even close.
To put a single powerful number on it, the lead concentration was 8.5 times the safe limit. All 3 samples they tested were over the limit, but this one was just sky high. This water wasn't just not pure. It was straight up toxic. And believe me, that was just the beginning.
The next metal on their list was chromium. Certain forms of chromium are known carcinogens, which makes it another really dangerous thing to find in any water source. And the results for this one? They were even more extreme.
And if you thought the lead results were bad, just get ready for this. The tiny little line at the bottom of the chart shows the WHO's safe limit for chromium. That massive bar towering over it, that's the level they found in one AC sample. It's almost 27 times the safe limit. I mean, the scale of the contamination here is just staggering.
This chart just makes it crystal clear. This was not an isolated issue. It was a pattern. Lead, chromium, iron, cadmium. Just look at those numbers. In every single case, the levels they found just blew past the WHO's safety guidelines. The huge takeaway here is that the promise of pure, clean water was completely shattered by the data. So this leaves us with a real paradox. How can one study call the water highly pure, while another finds it's loaded with toxic metals? Is one of them just wrong? Well, actually, not exactly. The answer is all about understanding the journey that the water takes. So here's the key. The water that condenses from the air is initially pure, just like that first study suggested. But it doesn't stay that way. As this pure, slightly acidic water drips over the guts of the air conditioner, the copper coils and aluminum fins, it's just corrosive enough to leach heavy metals right out of them. The AC unit itself is the source of the contamination.
So what does this mean for us? The researchers are very, very clear. Given these high levels of heavy metals, you should absolutely not use this water for anything that involves drinking it or even having it on your skin for a long time. So no drinking, no cooking, no bathing. But the water isn't totally useless. It can be safely repurposed for other things. It's great for watering plants, cleaning floors, or flushing toilets. Tasks where a little bit of metal content doesn't really pose a health risk.
So what's the bigger picture here? This whole investigation into AC water is really a perfect case study. It's a powerful reminder that the things we use every single day have these complex chemical interactions going on inside them that we rarely ever stop to think about. What started as a simple question, is this water safe, uncovered this hidden process of metal leaching happening inside a machine we all take for granted. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other secrets are hiding in our everyday technology, just waiting for someone to take a closer look?